So you just got your first cube. But how do you set it up? With all the lube choices and the crazy adjustment tools, it can be very overwhelming to try to set up your first cube. You could just buy a pre-set up cube from the Cubicle or Speed Cube shop, but it is very good to be able to know how to set it up yourself. When you set up a cube yourself, you're able to customize it to your exact preferences. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to tension and lube your cube. Every single company has their own adjustment system, but they all have the same basic parts. Underneath the center cap, you can adjust screw depth and spring tension. Screw depth is how far the centerpiece can travel from the core, and spring tension is how easy it is to move within that space. Some cubes will come with a screwdriver and they will have a screw in the core, so you can just turn the screw to your preferred depth. Others, mostly flagships, have a fancy system where you can turn a center ring, basically, that toggles through a set of exact core depths. Any cube that allows you to adjust spring tension has some sort of ring that you can turn with a special tool, yet another special tool. When every cube has different tools, you end up with a lot of them. On most cubes, when you turn this ring, every time you turn it, it will click. Each click gets the spring tension a bit tighter until it will click back to its loosest setting. There are normally a lot more settings for spring tension than there are for screw depth. For screw depth, you'll have around 3 or 4 settings, and on spring tension, you could have up to 12. Again, this system will be different on every cube you get. Next, we have lubes. Lubes can change the feel of your cube a lot, and there are way too many options for them. Some will speed up your cubes, some will slow them down and make them a lot more controllable, or some of them will just give a nice smooth turning feel. To save time, I'm only going to go over a couple of different lubes and how to apply them and what they do. First, let's start with my favorite lube pair, Lunar and Stardust. Together, these will make your cube feel very fast and smooth. Lunar is a silicone-based lube, and Stardust is one of the only that I know of water-based lubes. While Lunar is just good for giving it a smooth feel and a fast-turning feel, Stardust is extremely fast. It is only designed to be fast. So, Stardust is very good for big cubes, especially the inner layers of big cubes that normally turn pretty slowly out of the box. It's basically the same process to apply these lubes on 2x2 through 7x7 or Scube or Pyraminx. First, pull apart the edge and corner piece of your cube, or generally any 2 different pieces of your cube, and lightly squeeze the bottle into it. A drop should come out. Now, put about 4 to 6 drops. Sometimes the lube container will tell you a recommended amount of drops you should put in. Once your lube is in, make sure to do a few algorithms on the cube to break it in. Now, make sure to do it on every side as well to break it into every single piece on the cube. On big cubes like 7x7, make sure to put a drop of lube between every single different layer of the cube. When lubing a big cube like 6x6 or 7x7 is going to take a lot longer to break in the lube than it will on 2x2 or 3x3. So, make sure to, instead of just doing a few algorithms, maybe do a few solves instead. Both Lunar and Stardust are lubes made by Speed Cube Shop. Now, let's talk about some lubes made by the Cubicle. These lubes are both strongly based on being very controllable. They are Angstrom Gravitas and Dignitas. Or Angstrom. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. Yes, these lubes make your cube a bit slower, but with some kind of lube like Mystic or Silk, it can make your cube extremely buttery smooth, which is a really nice feel that I personally enjoy. Angstrom Gravitas is designed to go in the treads of your cube, so you have to make sure to take out one of every single different piece in the cube. So on 7x7, if you're applying Angstrom, you're going to need to take out a lot of pieces. On 3x3, you'll only need to take out an edge and a corner. First, you take the application stick thing it gives you and take a decent sized glob of Angstrom Gravitas out of the container. Now, you have to make sure to apply it to all the different surfaces of the treads of your piece. With Dignitas, you definitely don't need as much, so take a smaller glob out of it and spread it along the sides of your pieces, right where the pieces touch mostly on the cube. And now put your cube back together. When you start turning, it will feel extremely slow and bad, and you will not like the turning feel of it. I don't think, at least. It's going to take 50 to 100 solves or so to really break it into every single piece. Once it breaks in, it gives it a really nice, smooth, controllable feel. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can always wipe it off your pieces with a cleaning cloth. Lubes are also good for giving your cube just a very unique feel. Something like silk can make it feel, well, silky, and something like candy cane lube, which smells really good, can make it feel very gummy. I personally like candy cane in most of my cubes just to give it a nice feel. There is one last thing you can customize on your cubes. This is really only on flagship cubes because it's pretty hard to make this complicated of a system to do it. This is magnet strength. On the sides of your pieces, there should be some sort of system to adjust the magnet strength, whether it's a tiny little plastic knob that you push with a screwdriver or a separate tool, or a tiny little ring that you turn with a screwdriver or a tool. They all do the same thing. One way you move the plastic knob or turn the dial will either strengthen or lessen the magnet strength. Make sure to make this the same on every single piece of your cube. Some will only adjust one side of the magnet, some will adjust the entire magnet within the piece. Some will only have 3 settings for magnet strength, others like the GAN 13 have 6 to 12 settings for magnet strength. It really depends on what cube you have. Again, the system for this is different on every single cube. On a slower cube, you can get away with having weaker magnets, but on an extremely fast, almost uncontrollable cube, it is good to have strong magnets to lock in the turns. If you follow these guidelines, you will be able to customize your cube to your liking and make it exactly how you want. If you have any further questions, please let me know in the comments below.